will form part of our conversation for the program and the rest of the day. Bukola now joins me to bring you up to speed with what you have been talking about on our social media of choice, which is X. Bukola.
Hello again, Jeffrey.
Absolutely.
Nigerians are talking about quite a lot this morning, from checking up on Canada's immigration policy to whether or not Amotekun can participate in the Ondo election. Well, of course, in reaction to the IGP's ban. And of course, Nigeria hasn't quite gotten over the death of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. And that's where we're starting off from, Jeffrey, with news about the family head of Lagbaja saying that they regret obtaining an NDA form for Lagbaja, and that's of course in reaction to his untimely demise. He was just 56. And who's the first user speaking this morning? Engineer Yasir is the first person writing in, and they say, I believe it's just in pain. Of course, the family is still mourning. But what more could a man ask for in service to his country? To have reached several positions, especially the COAS, that's the Chief of Army Staff. Thank you for your thoughts this morning.
We always thank the late Chief of Army Staff for his service. He was a soldier that led from the front. Alexander there says there is no need for regret. General Lagbaja was destined for greatness. He came, he saw, and he conquered. He rose through the ranks to become the most senior military commander, I guess, in the country. And
Abiodun says the man should be happy because Lagbaja got to the pinnacle of his career as COAS. He should thank God that his effort was not in vain. God giveth and God taketh. Well, there are no words that can adequately compensate for the loss of such a general, of course, who must also have been as precious to his family. If we are all talking about him, in such words, of course, who knows how just precious he was to his family. And we continue to condole with the family of the Lagbaja and pray that God comforts the family at this time.
Absolutely. So from there, we talk about, we understand that Mondo Kwevalo also, we'll be talking about Baseki is missing. I don't know where Baseki, so people have been reacting to different, the handover to Mondo Kwevalo is tomorrow. And
that will be the 12th of November.
Yes, 12th of November. So from midnight today, so, the time is almost running out for Baseki. By the day, Papa was sworn in and there's a new man in charge, new sheriff in town. But talking about Baseki missing, said by the governor-elect, some people are talking here saying it revealed that Baseki chased, alleging that the governor had chased out government officials from the government house to give room for him to escort, all sorts of things. But let's take your reactions. Jones, you say, how do you know he's gone missing between Friday and Sunday? Why are you looking for him desperately on weekends? What is it that can't wait till Monday when it's business hours?
Well, okay. So that's going to start a debate about whether or not an outgoing governor should hand over physically to an incoming governor. Is there anything in the law that says that that's a must? Because it seems as if in recent times, particularly when it's an opposition party that is coming the outgoing incumbent, exits the stage.
I think it should just be diplomacy. You lost, you won, there's a transition, as we do at the presidential level. The outgoing will be there for the incoming, no matter who. Jonathan was there for Muhammadu Buhari. Muhammadu Buhari was there, although it's the same party. So, anyway, Bukola, you have the next one from Justice
And of course, Jeffrey, just what you've said, it's in line with the spirit of sportsmanship. Sometimes you win some, you lose some.
No, politicians don't do sportsmanship in some things.
Thank you for that reminder. Justice Paul is the next user, and Justice Paul says, fear of the unknown. But the good news is that our police can track anyone, no matter where he or she is hidden.
Oh, well, let's move on from there. Police and I think he's going to be governor from tomorrow, so he has to stay to himself, so he can make a decision whether he's going to go after Baseki or not. That's a different kettle of fish. So Amotekun and other vigilante corps, they've been banned from participating in Saturday's governorship election in Ondo State. That same thing happened in Edo State. It's only the police that should be in charge and maybe support from the military. So the IGP has swooped into action and say, look, all of this, your network and security, whatever, just keep it at bay for now. We have a job to do on our hands. So people are reacting. Sadiq is saying, we hope and pray for the election to be peaceful, free and fair, with no loss of lives. That is what we all desire.
I like this one from Vibes, and it's one thing everyone should think about. And they say, actually, that is not a decision he can take. He didn't institute the Amotekun, and he cannot control them. His officers can only arrest anyone engaged in criminal offenses. Even the police advises everyone to be vigilant, except when they intend to rig an election. So that elicits a debate on whether or not the IGP has the powers to prevent a state police initiative from participating in the election. Even if it is clear in the electoral law, it goes to support that ongoing commentary about whether or not a state governor is the chief security officer in his state if he cannot wield the necessary amount of control on the state police command.
But in this particular case, the governor is running for the election, whether he was running or not, at the end of the day, the primary responsibility of security in an election is the police. And the police chooses to add anybody is their discretion. So
and if the chief security officer of a state is the governor and he sets up a state security outfit.
No, we're talking exclusively to the election.
To the election.
Not any other thing. After the election, you can continue whatever it wants to do.
All right, the debate continues, Jeffrey.
Okay, so this one has to do with the former governor of Lagos State and former minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, SAN, saying they used to resist the temptation to abandon Nigeria to other countries. But Fine Boy Frare says, while it's important to consider the potential and opportunities within Nigeria, many youths seek better prospects abroad due to various challenges at home. Addressing these issues might inspire more to stay and contribute to our nation's growth. Well,
Faye says, if our currency, that's the Naira, is strong enough, going outside for survival is a waste. But, of course, you can complete that.
Okay, where am I again? Okay, Supreme Clerk said, dear Fashola, Nigerian youths don't need to be told to resist the temptation to live. Instead, why not focus on creating opportunities at home? Show us the plan for meaningful job security and support our potential. That's from this guy. Go ahead.
And Kel Crypto says, then make it economically friendly for the average youth to have something to invest their time in. Of course, he continues by writing, the policies of the government are always against anything that can liberate the unemployed and less connected youth to be financially comfortable. So what else do you want? I guess, as they say in law, ipso loquitur, the thing speaks for itself. Yeah. The economy speaks for whether or not Nigerian youths should stay or should leave. Speaking of which, our next talking point...
No, just that. It's just to add to that, Bukola, sorry. Yeah. It's people's choice. It's just giving an advice, I guess. But of course, you can't force. Even the government cannot force anybody to stay back. If things are better here, people will not run away. By their own assessment, they feel that they can get greener pasture outside the country. That's the assessment. If they choose to go, it's up to them. You can only advise and give pep talks as to whether or not. But telling people not to look for a way to survive is a different
totally out of
which is, I don't think, is what you're trying to say.
I guess if the socioeconomic conditions in Nigeria were better, were ideal in the first place, then there would be no need for that kind of counsel to Nigerian youths.
Absolutely. Yeah. So get the country working, and all of this will not be necessary. That's what we're saying. Canada has cancelled 10-year multiple entry visa and tightened rules for entry.
Wow. Canada is the go-to place for many Nigerians.
A lot of people, especially Nigerians.
They have that 10 million jackpot plan. That should have doubled by now because of the currency rate. Who's the first writer this morning?
Ayodele is saying, I'm happy to hear this. It's a sign that we must all focus on making Nigeria better than those countries. It's time to come together to build Nigeria.
And Freedom says, this is great news. Nigerians should stop running to other countries. We must all join hands to fix this country because it's ours, and we don't expect anyone to fix it for us, if not ours. Well,
all right, Rita said most countries are closing in on our immigrants and trying to manage their little resources for the greater good of their own people. Don't ask me what my own country is doing.
And Master Dean is the last person here in this talking point, and they say the time is now. Only go there for vacation, business, partnership, tourism. I wonder if this sarcasm or this is candor about the need for everyone to stay back and build the country. But of course, Dr. Julius Oni's story continues to inspire. How he returned to build, a health institution for Nigeria.
Okay, let's talk about a particular video that we saw online that people have been commenting on. So apparently it's a Bullion van being escorted by the police And check it out. Just check out what's going on here. Yep. Okay, so you can see the escorts behind that's not a sweeper, that's behind the vehicle. So there's a Bullion van, I understand, in front, and the vehicle is just trying to swerve to make sure that nobody overtakes it, and people have been commenting. So you can see the guy moving left, moving right, checking everybody who's trying to intercept, or if you want to do anyhow, you may see anyhow kind of movement, as we say it in Nigeria. This looks like that as you descend from the third mainland bridge down to Oworo area. So I think I'm familiar with this area. So that's it. Yeah. So
of course, this kind of driving is less than ideal.
I don't know whether that man is doing more. They look like they are doing more than the 80 kilometer per hour.
Apart from the 80 kilometer is the approach to driving. See the movement from one lane to another.
So there's a Bullion van somewhere there, and there are vehicles. I guess they're carrying money. So whether they overdid it or they did it well, I do not know.
That's the point. This is excessive, moving from one lane, one extreme to the other extreme.
Trying to block out everybody
from overtaking the Bullion.
In case you want to go and pick.
Anything could have happened, in this particular circumstance if the other cars, by the side were not exercising caution.
So let's take a look at what the people are saying. So that's the video as the guy was swerving left, right, and all of that. Dedotun says, for security reasons, nobody should be keen on overtaking a Bullion van. And
Jet Daniel said, this is normal security procedure in all countries. Please calm down. They're preventing a heist.
Temi says, this thing this guy is doing is so dangerous to him more than the people behind him. He could easily lose control. And
Nemeka is the last writer here. Nemeka says, what if he lost control now in past tense and things got overboard? F1 drivers never do like this. But even F1 drivers are in their own zone. They don't have to consider other drivers.
Absolutely.
That kind of driving was in total lack of consideration for other drivers around them.
Well, I don't know what I don't know what the security protocol says, but whatever. The people have commented, some are for and against it at the end of the day, but let's be safe out there, whatever you're doing, remember that the people are more important than the money, Abi, Bukola. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll start with our very first conversation that has to do with the policies of government. This Naira for crude purchase and all of that. We'll bring it up first before we get to other conversations. Join us again.